Greetings, fantasy NBA fans. I did happen to notice that between my week 8 and week 11 updates, I went a couple of weeks without an update. We had some holidays, we had some company, we've had some minor emergency health crises and stuff. So anyway, I'll try to do better. I'm also trying to do better on keeping things a little shorter. I guess I just like the sound of my own voice because I sure do tend to go long on these. So this time I made a concerted effort to try to be succinct. That is for sure. So let's jump in with 2.0 Thunder. You'll see that on your screen in my spreadsheet here. We are 11-3. We are in third place in the league. However, as I'll mention soon, that doesn't matter much. As far as points scored, we are third in the league, and in points against, we're fourth, which is definitely working against us. We average about 137 a week, and there are only 7 starters. And this was a team that I chose, the Thunder. I haven't done a whole lot of activity as far as transactions. I did trade Isaiah Joe. Somebody kind of wanted him. He doesn't generally make the starting lineup anyway. It looked like he never did over the course of a week and once we got started. So, it just seemed to make sense. I actually got McNeely for him, a young rookie, power forward, and I kind of feel like he's got a little more upside than Joe does. So I made that trade. I think I also ended up with a draft pick or something out of it. So anyway, the reason being in third place and scoring third in the league may not matter is, again, because you must win your division in this league. And I happen to be in a division with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And they are one game ahead of me, and they are also a little bit ahead of me in scoring. They're like second in scoring. So even if I tie them, it's going to be a little bit of a crapshoot as far as being able to get ahead of them. And I've looked ahead in the schedule a little bit. I've got a pretty tough schedule coming. He does not. So I just don't know. If he stops paying attention or maybe gets lazy or something, I might be able to overtake him. But I feel like, as good as this team is, we're just not going to make it. And that's okay, I guess. Just for the record, Holmgren was the best center of the week. I've been playing him at center instead of power forward. We did have the highest points in the loss. We were third in scoring this week, as well as leading third in scoring in the league. But we lost to the first place scorer this week. So just not much we could have done, I don't think. The playoffs start in week 18. So we are, we get 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We got 5 weeks here where maybe we can make something happen, but I'm just not going to hold my breath. Let's move on. So this is a league that, again, I don't think is going to make it. I did a little research, and it appears that about 6 people out of 32 are paying attention. 3 of the people in the current playoff race are people I know that I got myself and 2 other people into this league. But again, I just feel like by the end of the season, it's not gonna last, which is unfortunate. So we are 18-2. We're in third place. This is not one where you have to win a division to get in. So I think I'm gonna make it in the playoffs in this league. It goes 10 deep on the starting lineup. I love that. I wish the other league did that. But in the long run, again, I had the Thunder, and we had some racist stuff in the chat, and then people kind of got blown up on it, I think, and it's just not going to stick around. I was second in scoring this week. By the way, my friend was third in scoring, and again, he is undefeated. SGA was the best point guard in the league, so that works for me. Playoffs start week 18, and it does look very likely that I'm going to make the playoffs in this. I'm hoping me or one of my 2 friends wins this, and then if it goes to bed, it just goes to bed. But I think that's one that's not going to survive. Let's jump to the Pistons. We are 10-2. We are in 5th place as far as points scored, and we are 25th in points against. That's a good combination for a good record. I'm a little surprised we've lost 2, to be honest. Playoffs start week 18. Need to read my own writing. And it does look pretty likely that we are going to make it. We won 6 straight in this league, and we beat the number 5 team last week, so we jumped up to number 4. Cade Cunningham was the best point guard this week. So this one looks like we're probably going to be in pretty good shape, and this one seems pretty active. I feel like we're going to probably get to hang around in this one. So not planning on any huge moves here. I'm pretty much sticking with my Pistons lineup. I got a few little pieces that I throw in every now and then. James has been a starter. He's a Charlotte Hornet. And I have been working Potter in and out sometimes. Jackson Davis, I've ended up putting on the taxi squad, I think, in some leagues. Kind of curious how he's going to develop as time goes on. So Pistons are looking pretty good. Here is Sleeperholics Anonymous. I took over this team after it had been drafted, even though this is its first season. We are 5-7. We're in 17th place. We're 8th in scoring, which is really, really good, but we're 2nd in points against, which does not lend itself to a winning record. That's unfortunate, for sure. I wasn't feeling great about this team when I got it. I traded a bunch of picks for Fox, the point guard for the Spurs, and then I traded Tatum for some picks back. So it's been a little bit of a tumultuous season for the Sleeperholics team, and all I can say is if I could get to a point where I'm definitely eliminated, I would love to see Porzingis and Poeltl get gone. Those guys and their injury problems have really been a problem. I wouldn't mind getting rid of Harris either, but his health is always an issue as well. Been kind of excited to see Najee come in with the injury to the Joker in Denver. Najee did pretty well for me last week, and we've got some decent young players here. But I think we get to a point where we're eliminated, and then maybe we can unload some people on this team, I hope, and get some more picks. Really fired up about the 2026 draft. Trade deadline, by the way, in this league is week 18, so we got a little bit of time before we can make that unload happen. And you know, there's a chance nobody will want those guys, and if they don't, that's fine. I'll just hang on to them, and we'll hopefully they get healthy and do better next year. I did load up the trade block, though, already. So if people start sending offers, there might be some activity on this team for sure. Let's jump to Sporty McSportball. This was one I took over again. It had been drafted and had already gone through a season, so it was orphaned. And I picked this team. When I got the Sleeperholics team again, I told them just give me a team. I didn't really look into it. And this is the one I got kind of stuck with. When I got to looking at the Sporty McSportball team, I looked at the available teams, and I did pick this one on purpose. It's got lots of draft capital, and again, a really exciting young team. So when it comes to Sporty, we are 7-5. We're in 14th place. 8 teams make the playoffs, so there's a chance. I'm not gonna hold my breath again. It does look like I'd probably have to make a move, but I don't want to lose my picks. I want to keep those, which makes a move a little less likely. What I'm probably going to do is keep on grinding, and again, if we get officially eliminated from the playoffs, then we will unload probably Alvarado is one I could get rid of, and probably Kuzma and maybe Ellis. If there's some contenders that want those guys, then maybe right at the deadline we can do that. So, but Sporty is 7-5, very young, and Cedric Coward here is our leading starter, and he's a rookie. So Just really, really like this team. I think Sporty's on the right track. Here is a team that I picked up, the Celtics roster. We are in fifth place. We are sixth in points scored, 22nd in points against. So we're in pretty good shape in this one. Playoffs start week 18, and it does look likely that we are going to make the playoffs. So I'm hoping I don't jinx anything by saying it 5 weeks early. But I'm not planning on any major moves here. This team, when I took it over, I remember thinking, this will be a bridge season. Let's try and hit 500. And then we get Tatum back next year. So this team's automatically set to get better next year. By the way, my friend was first in scoring last week in this league, and he's doing pretty well too. So that is the Celtics. We're just going to keep on keeping on. I don't plan on unloading much, if anything, from this team, that is for sure. Pretty excited about Hugo Gonzalez here. He's just been kind of slowly climbing up the lineup chart here. Little rookie action, and man, if he develops, that's going to be sweet. That's going to be really cool. That's all the dynasty leagues, I think, at least as far as the 32-team dynasty leagues. Here is my redraft league. Tulsarado is 10-2. We're in first place. We are first in points scored, and we are 15th in points against. And in the 16-team league, again, I'm a little surprised we've lost 2 games, but apparently we have. We average well over 400 points a week, which is awesome with a 10-player starting lineup. And I honestly don't know that I've ever locked in someone less than 30 points on this. And we usually end up with like a 50, a 70, on the high end. We did beat the number 2 team last week. We were number 1 and they were number 2. So I think that pretty much ices, half the league makes the playoffs, 16-team league, 8 teams make it. I'm going to be in there, and I feel like I've got a pretty good shot at this. It is a redraft, and again, I don't know that I'm going to do the redrafts again. They're just not as fun, frankly, as the dynasty leagues are, I don't think. And I'm beginning to think that a lot in football, too. Playoffs in this league, by the way, start week 18, and we are definitely in. And this team has won 9 straight. So we lost 2 of our first 3, and then since then have just been killing it. So, yeah, that's probably the only way this team lost a couple of games was to lose them early. That's for sure. So hopefully we're not peaking too soon. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about the Oklahoma Outlaws. This is a 14-team dynasty. This is the first NBA fantasy league I was in. I took over a terrible team, and I've really been working on turning it around. My goal this year was to get to 500. I've been through 3 full seasons and 1 partial season. It has been a grind for sure, but we are now 14-10, and after 12 weeks, we are in a playoff spot. We are in the last playoff spot, which is probably not a great spot. Again, if you're in the consolation bracket, if you're 7th or lower, you get a shot at a first-round draft pick. If you win that bracket, chances are I'm going to probably end up, rather than getting that, I'm probably going to be in the last place of the playoffs and probably get smoked by somebody in the first round, because the teams at the top of this league are really, really good. In order for my team to overtake them, it is going to take a lot of time. I'll just have to wait and wait and wait till my team gets better and their team gets older. But the Outlaws playoffs start week 22, so we got a long way to go on this one. It's like the latest any playoffs start in any of my leagues. We were 5th in scoring this week, and we had an 85.4% efficiency. That is important in this league because, again, this is the one league I have where you don't get to pick the points after the fact. You got to pick them before they play, and you're stuck with whatever you get. So we did pretty well. My efficiency usually is in the 70s. if I can keep hitting, mid 80% efficiency, I do have a chance to beat some teams. I don't know about everybody, but I can beat some teams. And we're just going to keep on keeping on. We are playing the third place team this week. That'll be a good measuring stick. Right now, when I put my lineup together, we were competitive. We were right there at about, between that 55, 50, 45%, win, lose, or draw ratio. So we'll see how that goes. I know the top two teams in this league are just destroying everybody. So, and they're new, by the way. They are not teams that have won it before. So there's a little bit of turnover happening. And all I have to do is just try to ride that wave, I think. But Aaron Gordon came back. That was awesome. In fact, we are getting real close, probably end of this season. He has 41 starts for this team. Pretty good chance we're going to induct him into the Oklahoma Outlaw Ring of Honor before the end of the year or at the end of the year. He had to sit out a few weeks, probably about a month this year. Otherwise, he'd already have more starts. One of the things I've been kind of wondering about, though, is look at Duncan Robinson. He's got 30 starts, but he has been on my bench 27 times. That's crazy. I distinctly remember the first waiver wire run I ever did with this team after I took it over, and there were 7 empty spots on the bench. So the person who had been running it had not been keeping up with it. I picked up Duncan Robinson, and he has been on my team ever since, and he's just been that kind of a depth piece where sometimes he's in, sometimes he's out. And but you'll notice, on the injured reserve only 3 times. He's very healthy, and that has paid off. He got traded to the Pistons this year, and has kind of found a role. So got some really good young guys coming up here. Pazensky, Ivy, Clegane, Carrington, White's a good young guy. So those guys will overtake some of these other guys in the future as well. But feeling pretty good about the Outlaws. If we make the playoffs and get blasted, it has been a successful season because this team has never sniffed the playoffs this late in the season. So we're going to take it. Let's jump to an 18-team dynasty. This is the Little Rock Boulders. They are 10-1-1. We're in third place. We're third in points scored, and we're 15th in points against. And again, that's out of 24 teams. And we've been doing pretty well on this one. Interestingly enough, last week we had a roster crunch with Jamal Murray. Kind of stuck in the injured reserve, and I'm probably being a little too stubborn about this, but he did not get a start this week, so now he is at 11 instead of 12. He was stuck in the injured reserve, and he had a 75-point night. The problem is I've got some good young guys I don't want to cut, specifically Traore and Riseacre and Malach. I really don't want to cut those guys. I picked them up off of the waiver wire because other people were fine cutting them, but I don't want to cut them. So I've been really trying to get the trade market to listen to me and trying to get rid of, a player or two. This league does not like to trade, apparently. So I'm probably going to end up having to cut somebody, and I feel like it's probably going to be Malach here, but I don't know. In order to get Porter out of Murray out of IR. I just don't have a roster spot, and it's unfortunate. I did send out a couple of feelers with Traore and Malach to see if anybody wanted to handcuff those guys with their veterans, but again, I just don't hear from everybody very much on this league. So if we have to cut someone, that's what we'll do. This is a dynasty league. I really hope it lasts. This one, I think, took the place of one that did not last. It's an 18-teamer now, and it was a 24-teamer last year. Man, this is a good team. This is a really good team. So I'm kind of hoping I get to keep playing with this one, that's for sure. Let's look at our last team here. This one got us into some other ones. So I was asked, basically in my Oklahoma Outlaw League, the one I've been in forever, a guy came to me and he said, hey, will you take over this Orphan? And so I took over this one. It's a 24 team dynasty. This is one where I've made lots of moves and have received heat in the chat with pretty much every single one of them. But this one opened up some of the other ones that I got into, which has been kind of fun. So we are 6-6. We're in 14th place. I think prior to me taking over this team in 2 seasons, this team had won 3 games total. So we're already 6-6, which is a lot better. Traded for Pritchard, who I fully intend to keep. Traded for Grimes, who I may unload. I've actually sent a message out to the guy that has Edgecombe. And if he wants Grimes, which is what I kind of prefer, I'll take some picks for him, or a pick, depending on how good a pick that is. I did mention the guy has Edgecombe. This is all 76ers we're talking about, and if he would rather trade me Edgecombe, that might be one of those players I'd be willing to give up some picks for. So we shall see. This one, again, is going to be a long, long wait, is what it's going to be. For what it's worth, though, I picked up Curry and then ended up trading him. I picked up Draymond. I ended up trading him. When I say picked up, I traded for them. And what I've been trying to do is just kind of keep the wheels turning and get people aware of the fact that I am engaged in diplomatic trading, not economic trading. But hey, if you want something, come talk to me. If I need something, let me come talk to you, and try and make our teams better, especially those teams that are also trying to rebuild. This is the league where I've got a friend of mine. We don't really know each other except for through the chat, but he and I started working together because we both took over crappy teams, and we just decided, hey, we ought to be able to kind of get away with whatever we want, frankly, if we're trying to help each other out and get better. And so his team is at 6-6 also. He was 3rd in scoring this week, by the way, so he's doing much better. The one thing I guess, wish we hadn't done, he had traded me Shaden Sharp at one point, and then he asked me could he trade back. Man, I'd kind of like to have Shaden Sharp on this team still. But, again, with him, I was like, you know what, whatever, we'll work it out. So we worked it out. Playoffs start in week 21 in this one. I have a feeling we will be eliminated soon enough, and hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, there will be a contender out there who maybe wants to grab Grimes, maybe needs a depth piece like Filipowski or something. But a lot of the young guys I really don't want to get rid of. This was the team, by the way, too, where with Jackson Davis, I finally found a spot on the taxi squad. I got to put him on there, and I think I'm going to hang on to him there. I took some heat for trading for him, that's for sure, but this team gets Sorber back next year. Or I guess can't say back. He's never got to play, but he was a first-round draft pick, and I think worth taking. So that gets us better, and then we also get Lively now back next year. So this team automatically, I think, gets better next year, and that makes Aldama a little bit of a trade candidate this year as well, maybe to a contender. So I think that pretty much covers it for this week. This was week 12. And if you come across, some sleeper parallels between your league and my league, I hope this helps you out. I will one day, probably going into the off season or going into next season, give you a little rundown on my spreadsheet process. You'll notice I have week 13 projections already put in there, and I try to just sort of fill in where do I think these projections are going to land me as it relates to my starting lineup. I can tell you it does not work out that way. If you're really paying attention and you're putting people in, even when, like for example, if Pritchard's not playing tonight and I got a guy projected to score 10 who is playing tonight, well, I'll go ahead and put him in Pritchard's spot, because if he goes off, I'll try and figure out where I want to put him later. But most of the time they don't. You end up taking him right back out. It's not a big deal. But I do feel as though my spreadsheet process is probably something I need to do a video on. Really excited about drafts when they come up, which probably won't be, I guess, until September, October. But I have lots of draft picks in a lot of leagues, and I'll give you a little rundown of my process on that. It's not that complicated. I rely a lot on other people's opinions because I don't get to watch a whole lot of college basketball. So I think that covers it. Again, if we get a chance to update you next week, then I will let you know how we're going. Probably going to spend less time on the teams that start to become eliminated, and more, or at least the same amount of time on the ones that are still alive. You guys stay safe out there, and I'll see you for week 13.